Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the In Your Head podcast. I'm your host, as always, Jesse, joined, as always, now on the couch, Shane. How are you, Shane?
I'm doing well.
All right.
I'm doing well.
So, I am bringing Shane a special little treat. Shane is a huge wrestling fan,
Yes.
as you may be able to tell if you can see it on his shirt, the Andre the Giant shirt that he's wearing. He's a huge wrestling fan. And he wore that without even knowing what I was bringing for him.
No.
He had no idea we were doing a wrestling game today. And so I have brought him a special surprise. So I'm going to switch over to this here. So this game is called Appoooh.
Appoooh.
Oh, yeah. So
why?
let's unpause this so we can see what this game starts like. So it's a Sega game from 1984.
Hulk Hogan's in it.
Hold on, we got to pause this a second. Well,
And a Giants.
Well, yeah, hold on a second. All right, let's stop here for a second because we have Hulk Hogan. It's
Hogan.
Hogan. Yeah,
Hogan.
that's not the way you spell Hulk Hogan. I'm not even a big wrestler.
Wait
I
a
know
minute.
that.
Okay, yeah. So they got El Tigre. They got a Giants.
A Giants, right? He's 590 pounds. That's a big son of a bitch. That's got to be an who's.
They got
Uma?
Abdullah the Butcher down on the bottom.
A Butchie.
A Butchie.
A Butchie. Okay. What about Babu up there? What do we think about that?
I know who that's supposed to be, but unfortunately, that picture just looks like Hitler.
Oh,
and I won't be playing it.
He kind of does. Did you hit start already? Or?
I did not.
Oh, okay. So I'm curious. No, well, don't. It's paused. I'm just curious because it said your time to select stuff. So I was very curious as far as what's going on here. So,
okay, this is the demo.
oh, it's demoing. Okay, so let's get a little demo here. It gives you all the characters' moves for each character here. I think it said something.
Inoke is the guy that literally Andre the Giant is fighting on my shirt. No, seriously.
What is with the posing? Oh,
you can go outside of the ring?
I guess. Oh, man. Oh, this is going to be good. What is... Oh, all right. I think we're going to have to get this mess started.
Okay. Yeah.
We're going to get... So this is the demo here.
Okay.
So first impressions from the demo.
I don't know. I don't actually know what to think.
Okay, that's a good start. Let's give it a run. You got 10 seconds to pick somebody. Oh, he's going with... Of course... Well, I should have figured. Neck hanging is a move. I don't know. We don't know the buttons here. It can't be too many. Yes,
guy?
you picked,
Okay.
You picked A Giants.
Oh!
It's probably the first two buttons are your only two options, if more than
Oh.
that. Ooh. Oh my God, he's redonkulously goofy
I can't
looking.
do... I just threw
okay,
him.
you dumped him. So there's got to be a way to pin him there. Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, he just dumped you on your head. Oh, you rolled out of the ring.
Fight the Giants.
You know, climb back in. Good move.
Yeah, I don't...
Oh.
Oh, no!
Okay. He rolled out. Leave him out there. Oh, he's stunned. That's why. I guess it's...
That was a rollout?
I guess he rolled out of the ring. Oh, no. Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, he's dragging me. Oh, no. Oh.
Oh, my God. This is
so horrible.
Bad. This is so bad.
Why can't I do anything?
You're on the wrong button. It's probably these first two. No, the top two. The same as the other game.
Well, these were the two buttons that I was hitting.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Oh, God. Oh,
this
no.
sucks.
Okay, you got him off you. Oh, man.
I can't do anything.
Yeah, it doesn't... I'm not gonna lie, it just looks so stiff. Oh. Oh, your guy's in trouble.
Yeah. I seriously can't do anything. Like,
yeah.
I can move.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, so let's pause this here. Oh, wait, it's 3 falls? Oh my God. Okay, hold on a second before we get too deep into this disaster.
This is a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Okay. So it's probably these two buttons. You keep wandering down into here. So
yeah.
So it's probably
I'm only wandering because these two aren't doing anything.
Well, it does. So yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It just doesn't seem like the controls are that.
Oh, this is horrible.
There's not a lot to them. I mean, besides the fact that there's some freaky scoliosis going on with A Giants over here.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with the
his
way
back has a face.
I don't get why they run around like this either. Why they run around with their arms out. The ref, the tiger guy over here.
And why isn't the tiger guy in the top right and I still have to look at Hitler? Like,
oh yeah. This doesn't make a lot of sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so let's just analyze what we've got so far. So obviously we've got the attempted rip-offs of some characters.
Yeah, they ripped off a lot of people that were very popular at the time.
Okay, well, were almost all of them wrestlers? Again, I'm not as deep in the wrestling lore.
The ones that I could recognize were all very popular wrestlers from their time. I'm literally wearing a shirt that has Andre the Giant fighting who, I forget his name, but the guy that Inoki in this is supposed to be.
Okay.
Because they had a famous trilogy of matches in Japan.
Right.
And this is clearly a Japanese-made wrestling game.
Oh yeah. Well, let's reset it back here. We can reset this back. So we'll put another coin in here. So I want to look at this for a second. So I'm going to pause it here so we can actually see who's here. So you said that's probably who's fighting on your shirt is Inoki there.
Inoki and A Giants.
Okay. Uma? Sound like anybody?
I feel like I know who that is, but.
So they made it just enough so if you don't know what you're looking for, you may not know that it's a famous wrestler.
Obviously, the guy in the top right is Hogan.
Oh yeah, that's
Hagen.
Yeah, Hulk hogging the spotlight. S. Hansen.
I feel like I might know who that is. I hope that somebody that watches this could be like, "That's who they are."
Yeah, please comment below if you know who you think these are.
Appoooh?
I thought that they were supposed to be about fighting somebody named Appoooh. But I don't see Appoooh.
What
yet.
It might be is something in Japan, like in Japanese wrestling, like maybe a popular phrase or something that is common in wrestling.
Yeah.
I wish I watched more I watch more modern Japanese wrestling. Not a lot of 80s Japanese wrestling. It's kind of hard to find a lot of that stuff nowadays.
Yeah, and that's what this was. This was 84, 83,
yeah,
whatever I said
this is
there.
at the height of. This was during the height of the regional wrestling promotions in the United States, but this was also back when a lot of these guys didn't have contracts.
Okay.
So that they could go wherever.
Yeah.
So they could go to Japan because Andre the Giant was more popular in Japan than he was here.
Oh, he was. Well, I was going to say, excuse the pun, but he was huge over there. Yeah, he really was. But he had a lot of most of his, like you said, most of his matches, like the shirt and everything else like that. He had a lot going on over there.
Yeah,
I remember that from his history.
The Tiger Man guy, yeah, he's a popular lucha.
Okay.
And they have Abdullah the Butcher, which my favorite part, and you can't really tell, but I can see it from here. Abdullah the Butcher has like the scarring on the top of his head. He was famous for using a fork on he was a hardcore wrestling before hardcore wrestling was like a thing. He would use a fork and gouge dudes like heads open with it.
Oh, cool.
And then his whole head, because he would cut and blade to get all the blood.
Yeah.
Today it's all fucked up. And it's all like dented in and stuff.
Well,
like
I don't know if that's what that is. You mean
the
white part on there? Or
no, there's like a little bit of like pink on the top of A Butchie's head, and it kind of looks like the scarring on Abdullah the Butcher's head. So
this is wow.
God.
So all right, so we're gonna keep this going.
We're gonna
so
try
you're
out.
gonna go with another character.
I'm gonna go with Hogan.
Let's go with H. Hogan. So remember, it's those first two buttons.
Appoooh.
And who the hell? What the
Now
fuck is that?
I don't know.
Oh my god! All right.
Yeah, get
Shooting
some.
Hitler in the head.
Take that, Hitler.
Lanky Hitler.
Appoooh.
I tried to elbow drop him. Oh, he
wow.
Irish whipped me.
And there's definitely some
There we go. I reversed it.
some speech in this that I can hear, which is good for 84. I'm not gonna lie. To have the synthesized speech is something. Oh no.
He reversed it. I rolled out. God damn it, game. Just do something. It's like you get to move and do stuff for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, these games are so limited on inputs and buttons, so you don't have a lot of options. It's really just,
He put me in a fucking arm stretcher.
oh man, this gets brutal. You sure it's not like a wiggle the stick kind of thing to get out of these things? Oh. Yeah. No, I'm gonna come right out and say it. I'm not really terribly impressed with
No,
this game.
game sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I mean, oh no. All right, we'll run that back to the thing. So okay, so let's look at the Appoooh screen here while we talk about this disaster of a game.
Yeah, this game's bad.
So this is the kind of thing I definitely wanted to look at about a game. Obviously, you walk up to a game, you're not going to know the controls, but some of them are pretty simple. Like you can walk up to a side-scrolling shooter or beat 'em up. You got punch and jump.
Yeah.
And in a game with only 2 buttons, which this has, you know, if you don't have something mapping out all the moves for you, you're very limited on what you're going to know how to do.
Right.
And so when it's just when it's shoot and jump or, you know, punch and jump as the beat 'em ups and stuff like that, yeah, you're great. You can do any of that stuff. But this basically has 2 buttons and a stick, same as that, and you're almost just handicapped because you're like, there's no way you're going to know all these moves from was it 6 or 8 knockoff wrestlers.
Yeah.
And that was, I think that kind of makes it a little like you can see the frustration from that.
It's funny because now in retrospect, I'm thinking maybe I should have done something more akin to a fighting game and might have had to go like down forward and then hit a button. Maybe that's why I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
But still, I feel like at some point I would have accidentally done that.
Yeah.
And something would have happened.
Right.
Instead, it felt like for the first 15 seconds of the fight, I could do stuff, and then I just got beat up.
Yeah, and then it just turned on you, and they're just like, yeah,
so
we're
maybe
not
you
have
only
any
have like enough energy to do so. I couldn't tell.
There was nothing indicating it that I didn't see anything.
Now, I will say a positive about this game.
Okay.
So this game was clearly made to kind of like give wrestling fans the opportunity in 1984 to play as like their favorite wrestler of that time.
Okay, right.
And in that respect, they had some of the most popular wrestlers of that time, like Hogan and Andre and Inoki, Tiger Man, Abdullah the Butcher, which is fucking surprising that he was in this. But at the same time, like, I think about it and I'm like, yeah, my dad saw Abdullah the Butcher wrestle, so I'm not shocked.
Yeah, I mean, that is something totally different. I mean, if you see like a fighting
still
game,
wrestling today, by the way.
God,
he's banned from a lot of promotions because he gave a wrestler hepatitis.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
But that's another story.
Well, I mean, yeah, to play something like that where you can play as people you know was huge. Like, especially like we talk about WWF WrestleFest, which may or may not show up at some point in this podcast, but with WWF WrestleFest, yeah, you were like, wow,
I get to be Hulk Hogan.
I can be whoever I want to be. Yeah, you could make your own tag team of whichever pair of wrestlers you felt like.
Yeah. And
it was like, holy cow. And that was probably what? At least 10 years after this game.
Yeah.
I don't know the date offhand for WWF WrestleFest, but
if it would, probably about 10 years, maybe
at least,
at the latest, actually 10 years, because 84 might have been like 1990.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, because you're talking about all those. That was the prime of WWF when that was out. But, you never had that kind of stuff. And I don't even know if 84, do you really think 84 was a time when wrestling was in its prime?
No, it was, but it wasn't quite what it would become in like the next couple of years. Like, Hogan kind of like really took over the world after he defeated Andre the Giant. And it's clear, like, even just from this game, we're still working with a good guy, Andre the Giant, probably around the time he kind of semi-retired.
Okay.
Because what year did Princess Bride come out?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that.
I want to say that was like 87, 88.
It was probably long after he was.
Well, it was like a year or two after like he faced Hogan.
Okay.
Yeah, like we're at the point where like WrestleMania hasn't quite become a thing yet, and we don't quite have like national television wrestling. It's still regional. So in the Northeast, you had WWF, and that was popular here where we're at now.
Right.
Whereas then you go down south, you have all kinds of different promotions down there. You've got like Jim Crockett Wrestling, which would then become WCW. You had the AWA, you had the NWA, you had all these wrestling promotions.
Yeah, a whole bunch. Right.
You go to Canada, you had Stampede Wrestling, which was where like guys like Bret Hart and Rowdy Piper and a lot of those guys would come out of that. Andre, when he first came to the States, that's where he wrestled. He wrestled in Quebec.
Okay.
Which made sense. I mean, a French guy going to wrestle in another part of the world that speaks primarily French.
Yeah. Helps you get along with the new. Right. So, I mean, okay, so let's look at some different parts of this game. Obviously, we know that it's cool that they brought the ability to say, hey, I'm going to wrestle somebody I know because obviously there's no marks of any wrestling like, hey, this is from whatever wrestling, or there's nothing saying of any promotions. So obviously you notice the way they changed the names.
This is definitely a Japanese wrestling game because of who's in it and all those guys that are like Hogan trained in Japan.
Okay.
Andre the Giant was popular there. Abdullah the Butcher is still popular there.
So it was pretty
like
much
Tiger,
all that, right?
The Tiger guy, I know for a fact, like got popular out there. So this is definitely a Japanese wrestling game.
Okay.
Which the only other place in the world where wrestling is as big as it is here is Japan.
It's Japan. Okay.
And another positive about this game, as horrible as this game is to play, it's not fun to play in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
But you can ring out and actually fight on the outside of the ring.
Right. That was kind of neat.
A part of wrestling that is pretty neat to see in what would have been this would have been a Nintendo era.
Yeah, right around the Nintendo.
And this would have been a Nintendo era game. That's really cool to see. The fact that you get the guy down and you can pin him, and they even go 1, 2, 3, like all that.
Yeah, the synthesized speech was something. Yeah,
I didn't feel like I felt like I was playing a wrestling game. I just felt like I was playing a really bad one.
Okay, that's fair. So this is the the unfortunate side of some of these things that I want to see for sure, because there are so many games that get pushed out to say, let's get a game out, let's capitalize on wrestling, and you end up with something like this, and you get a game that's unfortunate, and it's so a game that's complicated to play when it's not as easy to pick up. Like there was a lot of nuance to a previous episode when we played Violent Storm. And when you played that now, you can learn different moves, you can learn different ways to play it.
And it was intuitive, though. Like, you kind of learned as you were playing.
Yeah.
I never felt like I needed a manual for that game.
Right.
Or, like, with old arcade cabinets, sometimes they'd have, like, the move lists with the directions on the cab. I feel like I would have never needed to look at that. I probably would have figured everything out from playing.
Right. Oh, down and attack, that does a sweep. Okay. Yeah. Who'd have thought? And I like that about that game, but this doesn't seem to have that kind of, there's nothing in the intro that gives you an idea. There's nothing in the demo, and it just almost just leaves you hanging to say, play this god-awful game. and
it's really, really, really bad.
So, I mean, I don't normally want to, like, shred graphics for an era. So I'm gonna go back to this. I want to let the demo play here. So I want to go back to this game. I'm not normally one to shred graphics because, like I've said, it's made in '84. Yeah, whatever.
Like how
and I understand, right? Be? Exactly. You don't have a lot of power. However, the thing that gets me about watching this game is just what were they thinking about the way they do some of this stuff. I don't understand why they walk the way they walk. I mean, you just okay, like that guy on the side just looked like he was a
He's
1930s.
putting he's the Marquis of Queensberry rules.
Right.
Yeah,
But then you just fought lanky Hitler with legs that were
like,
flopping all over the place and arms, and now they run around like this. I don't get this. Why they run sideways like this? And I mean, it does. It looks okay in the demo, like them doing
like
stuff.
this looks awesome. I wish I played this, but I didn't. This game is a lot more fun to watch the demo than it is actually.
That does
to
not
play.
say a lot about a game, unfortunately. I don't understand the arms out. It's
well, the arms out kind of reminds me of like when they would kind of come in the grapple, like you kind of came in like this and they would lock arms.
Oh, okay.
That's what it.
Oh.
He
just punched him in half. Holy cow!
Oh, this game sucks. It's a shame.
Oh.
It's a shame Hogan has his name attached to this.
If you ever met him and let him see this, is he gonna pin him?
He'd probably sue. Is what he'd probably do.
Would you blame him?
I mean,
Would you?
This is a 30-year-old game.
Yeah, this is. So there you go. That is as far as either of us are going to get in Appoooh, because good
God.
Lord, that game is bad in ways that I don't even want to think about.
That
but
is horrible.
But I mean, that's what I want to see about a game. So it isn't, about having great graphics. That's fine.
No.
You can laugh about it. You can have a good time. But it's just, it doesn't play. It doesn't. It just feels forced.
If I could actually play this goddamn game and it had those silly graphics and stuff, like like guys getting pushed in half and
that was pretty good.
And weird Hitler dudes walking super weird and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like, but it was fun and intuitive to play. I would be like, this is the best game of its time. Like,
Yeah.
But no, instead it's just a really horrible game that still has Hitler in it.
Yeah.
and
Well,
we can never forgive him for that.
I gotta say though, the playtime you can get for your quarter, I guess I gotta wonder whether it's. We haven't played it long enough to find out.
Oh, that's a slog of a quarter, though. I would be pissed.
Right. Well, no. If you figured it out,
this is the kind of game that people just go, "I'm done," and they walk away, and it's still playing. And you've seen that before in arcades.
Oh, I have when a game's that bad. And I think about that, like even if you know how to play the game though, and you play it well, God knows how, but you play through it, to see the fact that it's like, okay, it is either 3 falls. It's got to be 3 falls. It can't be best of 3 because there was 3 circles on each side.
Yeah.
So is it when you pin the guy 3 times, now your quarter's done? Like that's it, you're just done? Or does it go to the next one? I mean, this can last forever on a quarter.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you play Punch-Out and you you can make a quarter last a while in
Right.
Punch-Out.
Well,
and I guess that's kind of the same idea.
Yeah. Punch-Out was also hard as hell too.
Punch-Out is a very difficult game.
Yeah.
Well, this is even harder because
This
it's
is really
unplayable.
hard. This is This
That's
is on that
the hardest
unplayable.
difficulty.
Yeah. We know there's like Dark Souls hard, which is like hard but fair, as they say.
Okay,
but...
so all right, not to go off on a tangent about that, but people are always like, "Oh, Dark Souls, it's really hard and difficult. That's why I love it." I'm like, it's hard and difficult because it's a poorly made game. The controls are janky as hell. The AI just does whatever the hell it wants. It doesn't follow any real rules. The thing is, people look for patterns. And then in even harder difficulties, the patterns don't matter.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's just, I would rather play a game that controls solidly and is just hard.
I never liked the fact of that it was like run and jump are the same button. You just have to tap it or something. I can't quite remember offhand.
It's like, I never could get into those games because it's like,
yeah.
This is just being hard for being hard. Like, let's make the controls shitty so that it just like frustrates you. Like everything is just designed to piss me off.
Yeah.
And I mean,
walk across this 2x4 using an analog stick
and
that has to be perfectly lined up. Like things like that, I never quite.
I don't mind a game that has bad controls if it's still fun and engaging. Like I played, you see these like horror multiplayer games like Friday 13th or Dead by Daylight and stuff like that.
Right.
The controls are horrible, but it's still like a pretty fun experience.
Yeah.
And I get that controls in a horror game shouldn't be as fluid because it almost makes the whole situation worse.
Exactly.
Because you're just like, I'm being chased by Jason and I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and I'm fumbling with stuff.
I'm fumbling with it. Kind of, I get that. It's probably not the intent. It's probably just poor game design.
Yeah.
But that is kind of like a weird secondary thing you get on it. But then there's other really hard games like Hotline Miami, or even just like classic really hard games like Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah.
That it's simple controls, it's just the difficulty's amped up.
Yeah, everything will knock you off a ledge into a pit.
And that's the kind of hard game I like. I don't like a hard game that has horrible controls and the game's cheating.
Yeah.
because it's like because they just make the AI not follow rules.
Right.
There are no rules in this place.
Nope, it's just whatever it wants. So yeah, Appoooh is not gonna come highly rated from either of us. I don't think.
I Appoooh is poo.
It is poo with 3 O's. It's Appoooh. It absolutely is Appoooh.
It's really bad.
And that was Sega we saw that was on there. So this is one of Sega's real early shots.
Yeah, and you know what? To be fair, this game probably was a hit. Like I assume this game did not get an American release.
If it did, not a big one.
And I'm surprised that everything's in English. I mean, if it did get an American, it might have had to, because everything's in English. But
right, I didn't see any Japanese characters or anything.
I mean, there are some when you get thrown out of the ring, and you can see.
Oh, in the
you can
stands?
see some Japanese characters.
Okay.
Up there, but yeah, wow, this game is horrible.
Yeah.
It's really
Hey, I wanted to see some good ones and some bad ones because I think I want to show people in games and people playing what makes a good game good, what makes a bad game bad.
Yeah.
And that's definitely where you can see now that's definitely a line.
Yeah, like a game with indecipherable controls and
just pure awkwardness and weird.
It's just not very awkward to move, very awkward to do anything. Buttons just don't do anything after a while. And the only thing I will say about this game that Dark Souls doesn't do is that there's clearly a set of rules. Like, you clearly can, like, you have to pin the guy. You have to...
Yeah.
Or throw him out of the ring. I should have just left that guy out of the ring in the one and just counted both of us out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
So, well, there you go, folks. That is Appoooh. It is Appoooh. And I'm not proud of it. I knew I was going to bring some bad ones, unfortunately, to Shane. But this is the way we're going to have to do it. And we're going to have to play some fun stuff and some bad stuff. But now you guys know not to play this mess. So we're doing you a public service.
Yeah, I mean, play it if you want to, like, just experience. Like, I'm going to say this. As bad as this game was, I'm glad I played it for 3 minutes. And that's about as much of the... Because... Let's assume if somebody's playing this, they didn't buy it. We know how they got it.
Right.
And if that's the case and you just want to like laugh with it, this is like the game equivalent of like a bad movie.
Yeah.
And in that aspect, yes. If you want like 4 minutes of laughs, have a friend play Appoooh.
Yeah, play Appoooh with them, and I'm pretty sure you'll have a good time. So, I think we're gonna wrap up Appoooh for this episode, and we're gonna call this one finished. I think because it didn't take real long to get a good solid consensus on this disaster of hardware and software here. So hey, we want to remind you guys to like and subscribe to the video too. Make sure you do that below. Subscribe. It really helps us want to keep making videos and keep cranking them out to you guys, and make sure that you see them when they come out. As we're recording this right now, we're not quite sure of a release schedule, but we are going to get something, and we're probably going to have a regular schedule either once a week or every other week to keep videos coming out to you guys on a pretty regular basis. So, but just make sure you like and subscribe below if you haven't already, and we'll make sure we keep things going. Anything you want to add, Shane?
No, just keep on playing games.
Keep them playing, guys. That's it. All right. Thank you very much, guys. See you next time.
Adios.